Sample collection, which is important aspect of any lab, and phlebotomy is the separate section in the lab which is definitely controlled by the senior staff like technicians, or although phlebotomists work in that, but it is controlled by technicians, medical technologists, and it is your job to monitor the uh, how the samples are collected, what factors you must keep in your mind. They should be observed when the sample is collected. You just imagine yourself, if the sample is not collected from you, and it is not appropriately mixed, it is not appropriately transported to the lab, then it will be a problem for you people who are performing the test, and we for you also, that reporting is not appropriate. That's why sample collection is very important. Now we'll start with, because we'll definitely have less time. Uh, Sample collection is a very broad aspect which you have to understand, and must be clear about each and every step of the sample collection, from the test ordering to the sample collection and its transport to the lab. There are multiple factors which you will have to learn. These are all called pre-analytical errors, which are important factors which play a role. I tell you that there are about many studies which highlight that errors in the lab, they are about 65 to 70% in the pre-analytical phase. That covers your sample collection, that covers your sample processing and sample preservation. About 10 to 15%, 10 to 15% are in the analytical range. That is so less because of the automation. The remaining errors are on the post-analytical phase. The typing errors, delay in reporting, report not informed to the patient. They're all post-analytical errors that we will discuss in detail later on. So we start with that. Sample collection is called also, the objectives will be theory and practice of the phlebotomy, code of conduct. What is the code of conduct? Code of conduct means that phlebotomist has to observe that code of conduct which is documented in the form of the standard operating procedures, which is called SOP. SOP is a very common term which you will come across, and you'll have to prepare SOPs for each and every parameters, each and every aspect of the lab also. Then occupational hazards and appropriate precautions. Occupational hazards can be needle stick, patient problems, hazards from the syringes, hazards from the blood, hazards from the cut. You- Whenever you are, some person is taking the sample, because you people have to guide you. It is your domain that you have to guide the phlebotomist, that how the samples should be collected, what precautions should be taken, and until and unless you are clear about yourself about the sample collection, you cannot guide the next person. Then phlebotomy equipment and its supplies, what different components are required, what different tubes are required, what different types of the phlebotomy tray, items that phlebotomy tray contains, then vacutainers and anticoagulants. When we see the anticoagulants, they are very important. You have to understand the role of the anticoagulants, how anticoagulants work in each vial. What is the role of the EDTA? What is the role of the sodium citrates? What is the role of sodium fluoride? These are the common questions which are asked in the Viva, and these are the common questions which you must keep in your mind, that any sample taken in a wrong vial can lead to the erroneous results. So these are the objectives. First of all, what is phlebotomy? That is used for the withdrawal of the blood from a vein, artery, or the capillary bed of the lab analysis, for lab analysis or blood transfusion. The phlebotomy is a broader term. So it is the withdrawal of the blood from the vein in simple words that you must know. Phlebotomy is a whole process. It's a at least it covers many SOPs that we will discuss later on in your next sessions. But you must know because if you know the sample is appropriate, like you have studied about the hemoglobin estimation, you have studied about the ESR estimation. If the sample is not taken in appropriate while, if it is not properly anticoagulated, then hemoglobin estimations may be problem. Then you must have studied or gone through the platelet count, which is another important aspect. If the vial is not appropriately uh, inverted, mixed, or rotated, then there may be erroneous count from the hematology analyzers. If I am fast, you just can stop me and say that I must. This presentation will be shared with you. You don't have to worry about it. Let me see. It is being recorded or not because that is also important. I think it is being recorded. Anyhow, uh, okay, it's okay. So next is the who is phlebotomist? Phlebotomist is a person who collects the blood or other specimens. Other specimens in phlebotomy, apart from the blood, there may be urine, there may be fluids, there may be biopsies. In that, the role of the phlebotomist is equally important. Why that is, we'll discuss. Then prepare specimens for the testing, interacts with the patients and the healthcare professionals, plays a vital role in any healthcare system. When you will come after this lockdown finishes, then you will see that we will make you visit the phlebotomy room and how it works, how many persons work in that, and how they go to the wards because they collect the samples from the patients who are in the admitted in the hospital, and they go on the request of the which is generated by the doctor, which is the test which are ordered by the doctor, and on that slip comes or the telephonic call comes, then they have to collect the sample from the wards. So first of all, the lab test is ordered by the physician, and physician then directs the nursing staff. Order received in the lab, that is through the telephonic call or by the slip, or they may get it by the laboratory information system. Sometimes in some hospitals, advanced hospitals where it's paperless environment, then this request is generated and directly goes to the phlebotomy counter, and then person who is there then goes to the ward and collects the sample. Then work list and labels are generated. Work list is that how many samples they have been ordered in one ward or the different wards. On the daily basis or on the shift basis, all these are prepared, work lists are prepared for the collection of the samples. There are two categories. One is the hospital, second is the outpatient department. Those who come and walk in and give the sample for different tests. Then these labels are prepared either manually because they have to be, or they label it by marker on the vial, and but here we use the barcode system, so for that reason there are labels which are printed, and they are printed according to the name and the MR number and the lab number which is generated by the software. The advantage of that is that it is there is If the MR number is long, then marker cannot write all the numbers correctly because of the thickness of the marker. So there may be some error in that. To avoid that error, if the digit is more than the while length, then it can be a problem for the reading. Although it is written on two in a sticking tape and also on the while, but barcoding is the printing of the patient data and the lab number, which is uh, written on the or pasted on the vial when it is transported. After generation of the work list and the labels, then phlebotomist identifies the patient. This identification of the patient is very important. I'll just discuss it because the one patient, two patients with the same name having different MR number or the lab MR number, they may be mistaken by the phlebotomist if the workload is more. So it is important that one has to ask the patient what is the name, and he or she has to check it from the file also, which is on in the ward. Supposingly, if the patient Muhammad Ismail comes in the phlebotomy in the OPT section, outpatient department, and he gives the sample, he gives one MR number to him or lab number, and second is patient is again the Muhammad Ismail, but unfortunately or unfortunately the same age. There must be some identification points for the what is that? That is the telephone number. What other? It is the father's name. If some urine containers are sent to the laboratory and they have the same MR name and MR number is not written, how we can identify that which sample is this? If two patients of the same name, they are lying on the same bed which are adjacent, then it is very important. In outside countries, there are bands which are worn on the uh, hand, like a wristwatch, that is barcoded. That is very easy to identify what type of the patient is, what is his MR number, what is his father name, what is biodata. Uh, Here we, in all the advanced labs, it is mainly based on the father's name also and with the telephone number. It is the telephone number on which we send the message is sent to the patient that you have given the blood and that you must have seen when you have given the blood in the hospital or in the lab. Then phlebotomist draws the sample, labels the specimen, and then specimen is transported to the lab, and then specimen is processed. Now here, this is important. Draws, labels, which is the pure responsibility. This is a very crucial role of the phlebotomist properly drawing. How much pressure to build when the tourniquet is applied, how much delay we can afford in the transport of the specimen. If a person who takes a sample from the ward and then after taking the sample of the blood gases, which are very important, or even the CBC or the coagulation studies like PTA, PTT, and other things, if he keeps and goes to some cafe and takes tea and half an hour is uh, delayed, then the analytes will be definitely deteriorated due to the temperature, due because he has put the sample in his pocket. These are the different faults which a phlebotomist can make, but we have to make sure. For that, there are softwares. When the sample is taken, what is the time of the receipt of the sample in the lab? That is documented. I can now from the software see when sample reached in the lab, when it was reported. Now, when the sample is taken from the patient, that time should be written on the performer. That is very important because turnaround time starts from when the sample is received or entered in the lab software. And when it is reported, that is called the turnaround time, which is important and which is different for the different tests. So that will be discussed. That is the more component of the chemical pathology that we will discuss later on. But regarding now, as we are dealing with the COVID patients, we have to report it as urgent as early as possible. So in terms of sampling, the lab performs the test, then lab results are reported to doctor. Doctor treats the patient, treatment based on the lab results. This whole process is called the phlebotomy and the processing of the blood samples. Now, first of all, the code of conduct. This is professionalism. How you deal with the patient. What is your requirement? What is the requirement of the patient? What patient wants from you? You imagine yourself as a patient, you definitely would like that there should be a very minor pain of the prick. There should not be not a repeat prick. There should be, patient should be comfortable in a comfortable position. These are the different parameters which are written on the SOP, which are pasted in the phlebotomy section, and you have to be very vigilant while checking them. And if you have to perform the sample collection yourself, which you must, because it is very important. Sometimes you may need to get the sample. If you are a medical technologist and after some time you are given a task of looking after the phlebotomy section, if you don't know how to collect the sample, if you are not comfortable in taking the sample, if you are not comfortable in dealing with the patient, how you can guide your juniors. That is why I am stressing upon this, that you must get hold of this phlebotomy or sample collection and its drawbacks and its different type of the pitfalls which can occur, which you have to tell the phlebotomist, which you have to identify and discuss it with the clinician or the pathologist, that there may be this fault in this, why the platelets are not accurate because the sample tube is not appropriate. There are many clots in that. What are the reasons for the clot? Why clot has been made in the EDTA vial? What are the reasons your result of the PTA, PTT, prothrombin time are not appropriate? So these are the different things which you will come across in hematology, in microbiology, in chemical pathology, or even the histopathology. Then professionalism means confidentiality of the patient is important. No one is allowed to give the report to any other person who does not have the slip. If the patient cannot come, you will have to give the slip to the person who has been authorized by the patient. So confidentiality of the patient data is your priority. In this regard, I give you one example that if a patient is HIV positive, you cannot issue the report to any other person. There are some protocols, there are some SOPs for that one. You tested that one, the patient became to be positive for the HIV or for the hepatitis C or for the B, but you cannot, or even nowadays for the COVID, you cannot give the report to the unconcerned person, or if there is a slip, only he or she is authorized to get the report. So confidentiality of the patient data is very important. You cannot, one thing you must keep that phlebotomist working under you cannot tell the report to the patient to anonymous call. Please tell me the result of Mr. Ishtiaq who has given blood for the hepatitis B and C. Phlebotomist is not allowed to give such type of the information that the report is positive or negative. It may be used for the legal purposes. It may be used for the insurance purposes. There are many lot of different avenues which we have to be very careful. And you people particularly, you, because you have to guide, you have to monitor this one aspect, only one aspect, but very important aspect of the phlebotomy, working in the under your, when you become the lab manager or when you become the lab supervisor. So confidentiality of the patient data is very important. Then your work image, how you are dressed up, what is your way of talking, what is your attitude, how you behave with the patient. Definitely when you are sitting in the patient or the phlebotomy chair, you require that I must be treated with a lot of respect. I must be treated with the proper interaction with the patient, with the phlebotomist. So, role of phlebotomist in regarding the image is that he must conversate with you, with the patient. He must ask the patient any problem, any discomfort in sitting. First of all, he must introduce himself or herself. Then there are a lot of things which we'll discuss, that image in terms of your dress, in terms of your language, in terms of your speaking, in terms of your tone, in terms of your counseling the patient, that is very important. Attitude, same towards the patient, that is very important, because if you are rude, patient may not, because the patient is in misery, patient is in agony. If you are not very polite with the patient, he may feel very disturbed. Then in this last point is the safety of the patient and the phlebotomist. Here, both have to keep themselves uh, safe from the each other, because phlebotomist can be infective or the patient can be infected. Phlebotomist should consider that every patient who is coming to the hospital, he, unless and otherwise approved or proved, he is infected. His urine, his blood, his specimen, tissue specimen, or anything is infective. It may be in the form of infective by the microorganisms, it may be by the viruses, or any other thing which is hazardous for the phlebotomist. Then he or she has to protect herself or himself from being infected from the patient. Safety of the phlebotomist is important. Similarly, safety of the patient from the phlebotomist is also important, by wearing the mask, by wearing the cap, by wearing the protective gown. So these are the different factors. It's a very long topic. I cannot cover in one. It will be covered in two lectures. All employees are responsible for maintaining confidentiality of the medical information. It is important from the legal point of view. It is important from the professionalism. It is important from the patient can claim why my report has been given to some other person. So confidentiality, as we have discussed, is very important. The voice and or the tone of the voice and the facial expression will determine how patients respond to you. If you speak very loudly, if you are rude, then patient may not be comfortable in giving blood to you. So always be polite, friendly, calm, and considerate. Ask the patient what is the reason why you have come, how you are feeling. He has to tell or she has to tell to the patient that I'm going to draw the sample. There will be a very small take and very little pain you will feel. After that, you will be comfortable, and it is a process of about 1 or 2 minutes. Then your process, it is very important. Your blood collection is important for your reports. If you deal with the patient before, it is a rule of thumb in other countries that for any procedure, for any minor procedure, you have to brief the patient before what you are doing. So if you are pricking the sample, you have to tell the patient that I'm going to prick you with a very thin needle. It will be causing you a little pain, but it will be only for a few seconds. Then you will be comfortable. The purpose of this process is to draw the blood. So then patient can be very comfortable. Appearance, as we have, this is your important dress code. Every institute has defined its color of the overall, which is being worn by the phlebotomist. That may be white, that may be blue, that may be some sort of other dark blue. So your personal appearance, like it depends on your policies, on your procedures, on your SOPs which you have adopted in your lab, which you have prepared, or what are the different rules of the lab in which you are working. Either you have to wear the tie, it is important because that gives a good impression to the patient. Then safety, standard precaution, that as I told you, treat all body fluids as if they were infectious. That is very important. So my question or my point in this presentation, the focus is that treat all body fluids as if they were infectious. So you have to protect yourself. Personal protective equipment which are required by the phlebotomist, they are now in this era of new pandemic, we have to be very careful because as it is being spreaded, it is very contagious. So every phlebotomist has to be very careful when dealing with the patient. Lab coat, gloves, face masks, certain type of the isolation distance should be maintained. Simple influenza virus can be transmitted from the patient to the phlebotomist or from the phlebotomist to the patient. If the patient is immunocompromised, he may get infection from the phlebotomist. So these type of the things you must keep. You means all you people who are studying and going to be the future lab supervisor, lab manager, lab directors, then you must know. If you don't know these things, you cannot implement them. If you don't know these things, you cannot guide them. If you don't know these things, you cannot pinpoint the problem. So it is important for you to understand these basic things for the sample collection. Hand washing is the single most important infection control measure. As we have seen on the telephone when we call someone in this pandemic like Corona. Similarly, the hand washing for the hospital infections is very important. A phlebotomist must wash the hands before taking the sample. Then he must also wash the hands after taking the sample. It is not the routine, but some phlebotomists do this thing to avoid themselves. I think I'm running out of time of the Zoom. Be sure to turn off the faucet using a paper towel to avoid contamination. So, hazard, this thing will be discussed later on. Any question you can post me because the time is about 9:30. It's the problem is of the duration of the recording this one. So I will share these slides with you. In the next week, we'll discuss later on, and you must be reading this from some book. What now? The question which I leave for you: what type of the problems you can face in the estimation of the hemoglobin regarding the sample collection? Either sample is collected properly or not. What factors are important to discuss to see when the hemoglobin level is appropriate or not? Is it accurate or not accurate? Okay, any question?
No, sir.
We'll discuss the rest of these things. It's a very lengthy topic. We'll discuss it later on. Um, uh, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 students with me: Tuba, Shanze, Seher, Lareb, Kinza, Ikra, Amatur Rahman. Anyone else? Any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll discuss the rest of the material in the next session. Thank you very much.